Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, Facebook. This is Jess Rydell, and I am popping on with kind of an important topic from someone with a good bit of experience in this arena, and that is, sorry, thirsty today. That is why your job is not your identity. And while we're at it, we're going to talk about why your past conditioning is not your identity either, nor does it have to be. Because I think we feel trapped sometimes by our circumstances, by our upbringing, and we feel like that dictates our future. But, you know, we hear these little isms all the time, you know, things that we haven't really embodied into our bones. So it's like, yeah, that sounds good and all, but I don't buy it. So, you know, when people say the past does not have to equal the future, it's like, sure it doesn't, right? Because there's all of this latent energy that is still in your system telling you otherwise. So in shedding the layers of kind of moving past conditioning and moving past energy through your system, it almost has to be that the light bulb goes off in your brain. Like, you have that aha moment and you're able to really integrate and embody the fact that you are completely in control of whoever it is you want to be at any given time. And you can actually shift your identity at any given time. Yes. When I first heard that, I was like, what? But since going through some intensive work with some of my own coaches and also working with many of my own clients, on showing them where the ways in which they are responding to past conditioning, we can transcend it. So let's talk about the job first, okay? Because we get so caught up in this sort of ego-based mindset. You know, my job defines me. I am defined by the job I have, the salary I have, how I move up in a company, all of these things that at the end of the day, I'm going to say it, they really, none of that matters. It doesn't matter. We think it matters because we have been conditioned to believe that that's important, and that the way others perceive us, in terms of, you know, what job we have, what title we have, what company we work for, how we're moving up the ladder, how we are keeping up with the Joneses, to use kind of an old, outdated phrase. We think that that's what's important, but once again, the soul and what our soul is longing to do is what's really important. And if your soul isn't being filled by the job that you're doing, you're probably in the wrong role, okay? And life does not have to be the land of suck it up, right? It doesn't have to be. We have choices. As Martha Beck says, freedom is available to anyone at any time. And so is captivity. That was kind of when the light bulb went off for me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and maybe this will resonate, because I literally was completely bewildered because I worked for a company for, almost 12 years. I'd gotten promoted. I was so loyal. I really literally let that job and that company and that whole energy that was wrapped up in this place and this kind of toxic corporate culture, I let it define me. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this and collect this paycheck for as long as I have to, you know. And I never saw it coming. I never saw it coming that I would get laid off by that company. And when that happened, I was immediately like, okay, I need another corporate job, because I had that limiting belief that I needed a corporate job in order to survive, which I since know is BS, right? That's a bunch of crap. So I immediately sought out another corporate job, and there was all sorts of issues with this thing, and just a lot of corporate politics, a lot of weirdness, and I suffered as a result because I really internalized it, I really personalized it. I didn't realize how my empath nature was really kind of absorbing things, and I in no way want this to come across like I am being a victim, because that's not the case. I don't believe that there are victims. I think you know, we are the creators of our own destiny, and I was at that time. I simply did not see it, and I wasn't really embracing it. So bounced around to another company, got laid off again, went to a couple more companies, laid off, got fired. I mean, seriously, guys, it was just like, but instead of instead of seeing these incidents as clues, I saw them as curses. Like, I was just like, what? Why me? What is happening, right? But if I had been a little more inquisitive earlier on and felt into what was happening, felt into the situation, and said, what do I need to learn from this? It probably wouldn't have taken me going through 4 jobs in 5 years to realize that I was meant to do something completely different, and always had been, because I'd always felt very stymied in a corporate environment. I didn't, play that well with others. I always had my own opinions. I was always getting in trouble for being too expressive or too theatrical, or making faces in meetings, or whatever I was doing, right? Okay, so it was always an issue. I was getting endless feedback on all of this nonsense. And instead of seeing it as a clue that I was a square peg in a round hole and needed to get the fuck out of corporate, I was just like, why me? What's happening? No, literally, I was just like confused and devastated. And looking back, they say all the dots kind of connect, and you can see where life was always unfolding and happening for you and not to you. But when we're in it, we just don't see it. So just to touch on the other part of this subject is your past conditioning, because I don't think everyone realizes how much things that you learn from your family at a very early age are still things that you take as gospel, that you think are the way, and the way that you respond to things, your core beliefs that were all formed typically, in your early days, like before the age of 10 or even before the age of 7. And a lot of the times, the same kind of ways in which we respond to stimuli and react to things, or react when things aren't going our way or we're not getting our basic needs met, we revert to these old family patterns and habits that no longer serve. And there is a better way, because at any point in time, as I said before, you can shift your identity. And if this is something that you want to learn more about doing, please reach out. I have like a really beautifully crafted one-off session where you can learn to transcend your old behavioral patterns and kind of limited ways of being that you thought were so rooted in you that you could never get rid of them. And that's just not true, okay? And my clients can attest to this, because everyone that I've done this with, I do it as a one-off session. I also do this with my clients that work with me for 4 months or 6 months. And they almost always are just like, wow, mind blown. I had no idea that I could shift my identity and make a choice as to what level of beingness I'm operating from. But you can. It is possible, and I can support you through that. So just quick announcement too, I have a 4-month package available for anybody that wants to do kind of my Reclaim Your Mojo package. And I also have my 6 months big results for any divorced woman that really wants to collapse time and just kind of reinvent herself and work through some new tools so that your thoughts around what happened, whatever the circumstances were around your divorce, are no longer causing you suffering, and you're able to really step into the person that you were meant to be, and kind of shed those layers of pain and discomfort and create the exact life you want. It's a blank slate, right? When nothing is certain, anything is possible. I'm trying to remember who said that. I think it's Mandy Hale. Yes, when nothing is certain, anything is possible. So I'm going to leave that right there. If you're watching the replay, please go ahead and comment replay. And if you guys are looking into one-on-one work, as I do have these 2 premium spots available, please do not hesitate to reach out to me via messenger or email at jess@jessridelcoaching.com. It's a pleasure spending this time with you for Mystic Monday. And please remember, your job is not equivalent to your identity, and neither is your past conditioning. Thanks for watching. Bye.